Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is the Mental Wellness channel with Waihiga. If you're new here, I hope that you stick around and take a listen to what I have to share. Today, I want to talk about what makes one an alcoholic. What makes you an alcoholic? What makes me an alcoholic? What makes us alcoholic?
I want to mention something I think most people aren't aware of. For people that are regular drinkers or that have a genetic predisposition to alcoholism, when they drink, they tend to feel very energized and very good for longer periods of time. They're drinking one or two per night, or they're every other night type drinkers, or Thursday through Sunday drinkers. Those people typically experience an increase in alertness and mood when they drink, whereas occasional drinkers will have a briefer period of feeling good when they drink and then more quickly transition into a state in which they're tired, or they start losing motor skills, they start slurring their speech. When people ingest this poison, the range of effects is very different, and you can reliably predict who are the people with a predisposition to alcoholism by the timing of the different effects. People who tend to feel more alert and excited every time they drink, and that lasts a long while, those people are the ones that really have to be careful about predisposition for alcoholism.
How do you know if you're an alcoholic? An alcoholic has either a physical addiction to alcohol or an emotional dependency. But you can practice drinking exactly the way an alcoholic would and never develop an addiction. This is why alcoholism is a spectrum. Whether you're an actual alcoholic or just practicing drinking like one, you're still causing the same exact amount of damage. Having a high tolerance is your body's inability to process alcohol efficiently. Someone who's good at drinking alcohol can get drunk off 2 or 3 beers. The higher your tolerance, the higher up on the spectrum you are, which means you may be only one drink away from activating your addiction. Just because you have withdrawal symptoms when you stop drinking doesn't mean you have an addiction. All of the symptoms that you feel when you stop drinking, such as a hangover, are all withdrawal symptoms. That means the higher your tolerance, the more you're drinking, which means your withdrawal symptoms may get worse. And that encourages more alcoholic behavior by drinking through the withdrawals. When you feel like you're out of control and you literally can't have just one, that doesn't mean you're an alcoholic, but it does mean you are problem drinking. The inability to control your amount means you're practicing alcoholic behavior. The more we chase the buzz and the more we chase the dopamine, the more alcohol we're consuming, which puts us one drink away from an addiction. So you could still act like an alcoholic without having that addiction. Now, just because you would rather be drunk instead of going to work does not make you an alcoholic. But if you are choosing alcohol and completely neglecting your responsibilities, that means you're developing an emotional or physical dependency. You know it's not good, but you do it anyway. Just because you think about alcohol a lot doesn't mean you're craving it, and it doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. But that's what people with an addiction do. So if your lifestyle makes you want to chase the illusion of peace with alcohol, then you're developing an emotional dependency, which is using alcohol to process your emotions. So if the only pleasure or the only time you feel happy is when you're drinking, you're developing a dependency. How dependent you are puts you higher up on the spectrum. Just because you prefer solitude and you'd rather drink alone doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. But alcoholics love to isolate themselves. I used to sit in a room all by myself and drink a bottle of vodka while tears streamed down my face. And that's because I was emotionally and physically dependent on alcohol. Hiding your alcohol doesn't make you an alcoholic, but that's exactly what an alcoholic would do. There's a deep shame and guilt associated with poisoning themselves. If you drink to relieve pain or stress or anxiety, that doesn't mean you're an alcoholic, but that is what an alcoholic would do. Alcohol causes depression and anxiety, so the more you drink, the more you have a reason to drink. And these are some of the ways you know you're an alcoholic.
Seems to me like a lot of people are very confused about what being or who being an alcoholic is. And being an alcoholic comes with a lot of stigma, a lot of shame. And this is why I started this channel, primarily to destigmatize from that feeling of, oh my gosh, I'm an alcoholic and I feel so dirty and shameful and bad. Being an alcoholic is the best thing that happened to me. So I'm just going to explain what it means to be an alcoholic. First of all, alcoholism is a disease. Alcoholism is a disease. It's not a moral failing. It's not a decision that one makes. Nobody ever got up to the front of the class and said on career day, me, teacher, I want to be an alcoholic. Nobody ever said that. We wanted to be astronauts and teachers and doctors and lawyers. So developing alcoholism or becoming an alcoholic is basically depending on alcohol too much, over dependence on alcohol. And it's an allergic reaction to alcohol. It's to the point where you drink, and instead of your body saying, no, this is enough, your body never gets to that point. Your body, your brain, and your mind. So mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, all your body locks into one place that says, give me more. And obviously that is killing you. So being allergic to alcohol simply means that I react differently to alcohol intake than most drinkers do. When you drink alcohol, you probably are able to sip it, keep it down there for a while, sip it after another hour, and then if you don't like how it tastes, you're able to leave it alone. I, on the other hand, when I sip something alcoholic, that is it. It opens Pandora's box. I sip it, and then I drink it, and then I chug it, and then I have to drink the whole bottle. I can't stop myself. I can't moderate myself. I can't pace myself when it comes to alcohol. Yes, there were days when I could drink socially, but those days were very few and far between. Those days were in high school or the beginning of college. And they were not many days like that, actually. So the days when I could get a buzz and be tipsy and enjoy the night and party the night away were very few and far between. In the beginning of my drinking, it was fun. And then it was fun with problems. And then it became just problems at the end of my drink. So I hear a lot of people saying, I can't be an alcoholic because I went to school, I graduated, I have a degree, I've never had a DUI, I've never beaten my wife, I've never gotten fired from a job, I keep my job, I keep the lights on at the house, I treat my children well, I've never been to court because of alcohol. So how can I be an alcoholic? And yet you very well might be an alcoholic, because alcoholism does not discriminate. You don't measure yourself by being an alcoholic by saying, oh, I haven't done the worst things yet. Like, you don't compare your rock bottom with my rock bottom and say, oh yeah, I'm not an alcoholic because Waihiga once had a blackout for like 12 hours and ended up 500 kilometers at the coast, which is a very, very true story, in a blackout. Like, that doesn't have to happen for you to be like, oh, okay, I'm an alcoholic. I actually have a problem with alcohol. To have a problem with alcohol also doesn't mean that you are an alcoholic. So there's a thing such as a true alcoholic. We're about 10% of drinkers. So the other 90% of drinkers, the other 90% of people who drink alcohol are probably social drinkers, are probably problem drinkers, are probably drinkers who, with enough problems, with enough issues, they would be able to stop. But for us, true alcoholics, we will burn our lives to the ground to drink. A functioning alcoholic is, I believe, also one of us. It's just that you're in the prolonged stage of denial. A functioning alcoholic is at a point in life where they think that they have everything under control, and they absolutely do not. So they think just because they're able to make it to work, because they're able to pay the bills, because they're able to get by, they don't have a problem with alcohol. But their body is deteriorating so fast. Their relationships are deteriorating so fast, and their quality of life is just very, very poor. If you ask them to cut back drinking, they're not able to, because they're actually true alcoholics. And a true alcoholic, if you tell that person to stop drinking or to moderate their drinking, they're not able to, because we can't. It's either we're drinking or we're not. We're abstinent or we're drinking, So I find it really sad when I find people saying, oh, I'm not an alcoholic I didn't go to the lengths that you did to drink. Me, I don't have a good relationship with my wife or my children. Yes, alcohol gets in the way of these relationships. Like, my family doesn't like the fact that I drink, but they shouldn't complain because I have a job. I earn this much money. I do this, I do that for them. So they shouldn't complain. Yet you fail to see that you're actually a functioning alcoholic. And a lot of functioning alcoholics wear this badge of honor. They wear it like it's a badge of honor. Like somehow it's a good thing. Being a functioning alcoholic is actually the worst place to be, in my opinion, because you don't have a strong enough reason to stop drinking. You see, for me as a true alcoholic, my rock bottom was so bad. Like, I couldn't deny the reason I am in the problems I'm in is because of my drinking. But as a functioning alcoholic, you're just able to get by. You skim by here and there and here and there, and things don't get too bad. So the police don't catch up with you. Mental institutions don't catch up with you. Your family doesn't cut you off yet. But if you keep it up for the next 30, 10, 20 years, of course you'll end up dead. But it will be too late because your body can't take the alcohol. So your body is giving you the sign that we literally cannot handle the alcohol. But you, in your infinite wisdom, are saying, no, but I'm not like that. I'm not like those other people. I don't have blackouts and become violent. I don't have blackouts and burn people's houses down. I don't have blackouts and spend all my money. I'm not like those alcoholics. I'm a functioning alcoholic,
As an alcoholic, I talk about, some warning signs, The idea of, have you been through it to talk about it and see, this is what you go through. It's like there is this thing for alcoholics called a blackout, which isn't really a blackout. It's more like sleepwalking with activities. And I believe it's your conscience going into a witness protection program, going, you're about to have sex with a hobbit. I've got to go now. I remember stopping it on my own because I was about to have a son. And I didn't want to be coked up going, hey, Dad loves you. Here's a little switch. I'm going to throw up on you. You don't want to be like that. And I had to kind of go, but I did it alone. The idea is you got to surrender. You got to just say, I can't do it. Because, I went to rehab with a lot of doctors and psychiatrists. And the more intelligent you think you are, the harder it is to let go. You think, I've got a solution. I'll just drink a little bit. And then you have to go, nope, you lose. You can't do it. You need help. And at that point, that's the beginning. And then, once you do that, you're out and run.
I actually feel sorry for a lot of functioning alcoholics because it takes so much more clarity for you to see how alcohol is really affecting your life and how much more life you'd be able to live, how much more of a better life you'd be able to live if you were not drinking. If you actually just accepted the fact that alcohol is not working for you. But unfortunately, a lot of functioning alcoholics think that they are functioning on alcohol, so it's fine. So just to recap, what makes one an alcoholic is that you are allergic to alcohol. In the sense that, and what is an allergy? I have an abnormal reaction to ingesting alcohol than most of the population does. When I ingest alcohol, my body, my mind, my soul screams out for more, even though it is very bad for me. When you drink, no such things happens. You're able to leave it alone if you want to. When I drink, my body says more. I have to be stopped. And the only thing that can stop me is God and a program of action. So if you've identified with my story, if you are having a hard time putting the drink down, I really urge you and I suggest to you that you go onto Google, type in, I can't stop drinking, I need help. Type in 12-step recovery meetings. Look for an online meeting and get into that meeting right now so that you can find help and you can find freedom. Until the next video, bye-bye.